Association of Black Supplementary Schools. This is the becoming or being a parent governor in the BME community. And this session is geared towards encouraging parents from the black community to become parent governors, or even just considering the role, because we have the biggest issues when it comes to education within the state system, and we need to be within the inside to make some certain changes. There's no point just being around and complaining on the outside and not being prepared to make some changes on the inside. So this session is to give some basic information and just to consider the role, and then we can move forward in actually helping parents become parent governors or school governors. And the way forward for us as black people in this country is to have our own National Association of Black Governors. That's where we need to go, because there is a Muslim Association of Governors, so we need to move forward to create our own Association of Black Governors, because I'm seeing black governors all over the place, but they're kind of like keeping it to themselves. They're not encouraging other people to become governors. Maybe some kind of elitist tag to have, I'm a parent governor, and don't actually encourage everybody else in the community to consider that role. So this session is about sharing some information on how we can encourage others to be part of that role. How many governors do we have here at the moment? So we have 2 current governors, so please interject whenever you feel like it. So my name is Nia Imara, I'm the Managing Director of the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools, and this is the second of our monthly events, and the next one will be about why do we need Black History Month.
Yeah, can I ask a question around the
you have a question?
today? Are you going to be using this video?
This video
part of your journey?
Yes. Okay. This is Raoul. Come here, Raoul.
Thank you.
He's going to come and do some poetry. He's done some special poetry regarding parent governors. We've done a special one for NABSS as well, huh?
Yes, I did, yes. I wrote that one out. I wrote that one out about 2 days ago. Was it 17th today or 16th?
16th today.
I wrote it about 2 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
But don't hold your breath though, bro.
Thank you very much. Okay, so who can become a governor? So, just about anybody over the age of 18, you will need to go for a CRB check, or it's DBS now. Was it something unbarring service? Yeah? So it's DBS check now. You will have to go for a DBS check. As long as you're over 18, you can become a parent governor or a governor. And you don't have to be in the school to be a governor. To be a parent governor, you do need to have children in that school. But you could be a governor in any educational institution that you choose, as long as there is a vacancy. And that's the important thing, as long as there is a vacancy. So you don't need no particular qualifications or requirements other than the willingness to give your time, which is not that much. Most governors will be 1 meeting a term. So that's what, 3 meetings, maybe 4 meetings a year, so it's not that much. But it depends on how much you're willing to be involved. And capacity to work with other people.
Okay, just one other point here. Because of these committees you're actually associated with, because there are subcommittees as well. Yeah. So if you're attached to a committee.
Yeah, so as has been mentioned, governors do have subcommittees more in secondary schools than primary schools. But like I said, it depends how much you're willing to be involved. And you can, if you're in a subcommittee, then there will be further meetings that you will need to attend. But it depends on how much you're willing to be involved. Right, so if you're not a parent, you can still become a governor, but not a parent governor. There are various roles. The roles have changed now. They now have, what they're looking for now are people with particular skills. Not necessarily academic skills or professional skills. Even if you have a community skill, then you'll be welcome on the governing board, as they're called now. They're cooperative governors, so they can find a place where if you have a particular skill that can help the governing boards and help the school move forward. They have community governors. Well, there's a new list that's coming out from recommendations that come from 2012, and we'll go through those new roles. Time commitment. This is what worries a lot of people when they think about being a parent governor, they tend to think it's lots of meetings, and it's not. Like I said before, based on how much I'm willing to do, the average meeting is about 2 hours, and if you're, the full governing board is once a term, and there's three terms in a year, and if you're going to be on a committee, then there'll be additional meetings if you're on a committee, which will be around finance, achievement, well-being, or the different schools name their committees in different ways. But it will be around the children, it will be around health and safety, and it will be around the curriculum. School governors are like magistrates or members of a jury, and therefore have a right to a reasonable time of work for their public duties. So if you are a governor and you would like some time off to attend some of these meetings, and you have that right, your employers are supposed to allocate you that time to take off to go to a meeting. The meetings will give you, they usually give you plenty of notice for the meetings, so you'll be able to give your employer plenty of notice. But most meetings are after school hours, from about 6 o'clock onwards. Most meetings are after school hours. Very rarely go to a meeting during school time, very rarely, if at all. So check with your human resources department to make sure you can get that time off, if that is necessary. Term of office. School governors have a term of office for 4 years. However, as a volunteer, you can resign at any time if your circumstances change, or if you feel as though you can't continue with the role. So, and after 4 years, you go for re-election. And when it comes to the elections, this is a stumbling block with many schools. When it comes to the elections, they're supposed to notify all parents. If there's a parent governor role within the school, they're supposed to notify all the parents. But I've been told recently that they don't necessarily have to. I've been told recently that they can pick and choose who they want to be a governor in the school. So that's the latest information I've got. So the situation has been that some parents have complained to me that they are not notified that there are any vacancies within the school. And I always thought they were supposed to notify all parents to give everybody a reasonable chance of actually applying for the role. But I've been told recently at a governing training session that they don't necessarily have to. They can pick their friends to be on the governing board, which I don't think is right, because they need a broad spectrum of people from the community to be in that role. But so especially when it comes to parent governors as well, when you have children in the school, you need to have a representation of the parents, the cultural background of the other children on the governing board. So, but I think on the new structure, we can look into that again. So we recommend all new governors attend a governor's induction program. So if you do become a governor, it's recommended that you attend an induction program to understand what is going on, what's being said, and what your role is on that governing board. Legal stuff. Responsibility for actions and decisions lies with the governing body as a whole and not with individual members. Just because there's a chair of governors, you cannot make decisions without consulting the rest of the governing board. It's pointless having a board if the chair wants to do everything by himself. So they have to vote on a decision and vote for the majority on what the decision is. But they all have a role in the decisions that are made in regards to the school and the governing body. If you are becoming a governor at an academy, the legal position is slightly different, but there is nothing to be concerned about, and we will provide you with the relevant information. So SGOSS. Oh, what's it stand for again? Basically, that's a website there for the governors to go to for basic information about being a governor. I can't remember what SGOS stood for, so I looked it up. But yeah, you can find these links on Google. Just Google parent governors, and all these links will come up. But there are different types of schools with different categories of governor. And the types of schools in England are community schools, foundation schools, voluntary control schools, voluntary aided schools, trusts, which are a type of foundation school, academies, free schools, city technology colleges, and independent state-funded schools. And when you do apply to be a governor, you must make sure you know what type of school you're applying to, because there are different roles, different categories in different schools. Like private schools, they can run it how they want. They don't have to answer to anybody apart from the governing board. So they don't have to answer to the Department of Education, whereas the other governing bodies tend to need to do so. And voluntary aided, or voluntary control as well, they can do it. A lot of the voluntary control schools are, the voluntary aided schools tend to be church schools and mosque schools. So they have a bigger control over their governing body because of their religious practices and beliefs. So be careful when you do apply, so you understand the ethos of the school and what type of school it is. Any questions around this? Okay, so yeah, so make sure you do that basic research. There are also different categories of governor. So a parent governor, you do need to have children within the school to be a parent governor. Staff governors are members of staff employed at the school. Community governors, these are the positions where the governing body can have somebody on the governing board from the local community if they have a particular skill that will fulfill the ethos of the school and the governing body. So somebody who works in the community as a community leader, or somebody from the faith organisations, be it a church or mosque, or a local business person, or social services. So anybody with a particular skill that will that can contribute towards the governing body and the school can come on board the governing body as a community governor. Foundation governance. Now this is the new one. This is to include parents and cooperative governors. This is a framework that came in 2012, which hasn't been fully adopted by all schools, but they're looking to have it all fully adopted by 2015. I think with this particular framework, the amount of parent governors can go up from 2. They need to have a minimum of 2. They can go have as many as they like if they have parent governors with particular skills. What the Department of Education is looking at is having people on the governing board that have particular skills that can contribute towards the governing body and the school, rather than just being a governor and not having much contribution. They actually want people on the governing board who have particular skills. And with the foundation governors, they're widening the scope to have more people on board with particular skills. Local authority governors, these are from the local authority, especially when they're voluntary control schools and community and foundation schools. The local authority, the funding will come from the local authority for many of these schools. And while that's still the case, the local authority will usually insist on having somebody from the local authority on their governing board, because they're spending the money from the local authority. So the local authority would like to know how the money is being spent and what's going on within the schools under their control. So if anything goes wrong, they will get it in the neck. Cooperative governors, like I said before, these are members from the community or business that have been highlighted by the governing body, or if they've applied to the governing body with particular skill sets. And this goes on with the framework of foundation governors, of having people on the governing board with particular skills. The type of governor you will become depends on your situation. However, all governors have the same roles and responsibilities once part of the governing body. So again, even if somebody is a banker or works in social services as an area leader, whatever, you as a parent governor, you have the same responsibilities as everybody else, and you have the same voting rights as everybody else.
You mentioned partnership governors.
Partnership governors. Partnership governors. This is coming more with the academies and with voluntary aided schools, because they all get their private funders that come in, and the funders, the people who fund the schools would like to have somebody from their organisation on the governing board. Like again, just like local authorities, to see how their money is being spent and have a representation from the people who are paying their bills, quite frankly. So partnership governors are important if you're getting private funding. And also, especially with private schools as well, they'll have lots of private benefactors giving them some serious funds, because the private schools are not funded from the local authority, and out of the complete remit from the local authority. So they will have quite a few partnership funds in private schools. Okay. But there was a film there, but I don't think it's going to work. So that's the next one. A lot of stakeholders are new to the country. They are keen and interested in their children's education, and they want to get involved, but they do not have a great understanding of the system, and a lot of them have never been on the committee of any kind of at all. There are lots of issues about them developing their expertise. And this is especially with the voluntary aided schools and voluntary funded schools. These tend to be a lot of religious schools, a lot of Muslim schools, and parents within the schools will come from other countries as refugees or just moving from country to country. And because their experience and their expertise is in another country, they find it difficult to get onto a governing body over here, especially as they have no employment history over here, or sometimes they don't even have any records over here. So even though they might be well educated or very enthusiastic about their children's education in their previous country, but it's very difficult for them to get on board with their expertise and their knowledge on governing bodies at the moment. But as parents, they are stakeholders in the school. As parents, they are stakeholders. So sessions like this and any other meetings to encourage parents to speak, parent governors, will help them and give them more encouragement. They do find it very intimidating, and especially if English is not their first language. But they do have the right to have an interpreter at governing body meetings if there are members on the governing board who do not have English as their first language. But more information are on the internet. You do not put an accountant or a lawyer or a surveyor on the board of governors in order to gain on the cheap professional advice, which has been done on a few cases. Just because somebody works as a lawyer and something crops up within the school or college, and they think they can use that person for cheap employment or cheap advice, that would be a conflict of interest. If you're on the governing board and then you end up giving legal advice to that governing board, that is a conflict of interest, because there's no guarantee that information is going to be impartial. Surveyors, especially when it comes to new buildings and especially with academies, they're having new buildings, getting somebody from the company that's building their new building or redecorating their school, having them on the governing board, is a conflict of interest. You put somebody on the board because they have that breadth of experience, and if necessary, will know that at this point you should seek internal advice from an accountant or something. Yeah, so basically, if you do have somebody with those particular skills, you're going to have to go source elsewhere and get advice from somebody else. Because just having someone on the governing board because they have that particular skill set, or you want to use their company on the cheap, is not good practice. It doesn't look good, quite frankly. It really doesn't look good at all. Okay, should school governors meetings be open? Every school's board of governors does things a little differently. A small minority hold meetings which are open to anyone who would like to attend. A few invite parents to get involved, and some even welcome the press to report on proceedings, which is very rare indeed. But like I say, in terms of if there's some issues that are within the school, that might be a good idea in terms of a PR public relations to uplift the public view of the school. But it's very rare that does happen. The default position is, however, to conduct these businesses more or less behind closed doors. I was told recently at one of my meetings by the bursar that school governing body meetings are public meetings and anyone can attend. So I thought, oh my God, this is brilliant. Let me go around and tell everybody. But when I actually went to the governor's training in Westminster, I was informed that that is no longer the case. And it hasn't been the case for quite a while, since the days of the AEA controlling schools back in the 80s. So I was given false information. So at the moment, the default is that governing body meetings are closed doors unless you are invited. And even then, if you are invited, if there is any confidential information, you may be asked to leave the room, or they will go through the information that is you can listen to first, and then once the confidential information is being spoken about, then you'll be asked to leave the meeting. But the default is that the majority of school governing body meetings are closed doors. Okay, making schools and colleges more accountable and giving them more control over their budget. What the government is doing is to hold schools and colleges to account for those pupils in education, to give them more control over spending. This is more so with academies. That's probably the carrot stick for schools to become academies, is that they get more control over their budget. They come away from the local authority control and answer directly to the Department of Education. So that gives them better control. So these are different articles you can find on the internet. So if you do want to become a parent governor, please use the internet and use the local authority websites to gather information. So these are just some links that I found that I'm sharing around. Information about the role and legal duties of governing bodies in maintain schools and academies, which include free schools. So there's information there. And this article is from January 2014, so it's quite new. School governance regulations. Departmental advice for school leaders and governing bodies of maintained schools and managed committees of pupils refer to units in England. Scotland have slightly different rules, but most people we see this will probably be from England. School governance, constitutional regulations. I mean, it looks like a lot, but you don't necessarily have to go through this, but it is a good idea to look at some of this information to get a rough idea of what's going on in the governing body. There's statutory guidance on school